this one.
You doing this? Helping Daddy shred my old documents?
Yes.
We're trying to minimalize, me and Brianna, aren't we? You helping us minimalize? Go ahead. You can go ahead and do it. We've been doing old payroll documents from 2010. Hey, okay, let's put it all over here. I'll hold it for you, okay? Now you put them in like one at a time, okay? And watch your fingers. All right. This is part of our minimalizing strategy. Get rid of things that just don't matter anymore. There's no reason to keep these anymore. So we're getting rid of this and getting rid of old mortgage documents and all the houses I've owned over the years. And actually that brought up an idea for a little topic that would be really good, I think, and I'm going to spend more time talking on that when we finish this little project here about what a mortgage is and what a mortgage really means to your life and how important it is. And maybe it's time that we rethink that in America, because America is, in fact, let's put it this way, most countries in the world don't even have mortgages. It wasn't until recent years that Argentina reinstated the mortgage system there for housing, and before they did that, housing was really inexpensive over there. And once the mortgage system came in through the banking system, the prices took off and went nuts. And so now people can't afford to have homes in Argentina. And the same thing has happened now in America. So the mortgage system has been a really death knell to American society and culture and economics. The only people it's ever benefited is the banks, and it's put America into a state of poverty. And so I want to talk about the word mortgage and what it really means when I can sit down at my desk and talk a little bit better. But come on, baby, let's keep doing this. We got a lot to do. We've already dumped this thing out a couple times. We're getting good at this. Remember, if it's not important, shred it. Got rid of old mortgage crap from years and years ago. I've already had 13 homes of my own that I've had mortgages on, and out of those 13 homes, I've had 9 of them. I actually bought the land, designed them, and built the homes myself, and then financed them and sold them myself. So I know quite a bit about real estate, residential real estate. I've never done any commercial, but I do know quite a bit about residential real estate from my experience over the years, beginning back in 1980 when I built my very first home. Actually, in 1978 when I bought my very first home in Burbank, California. That was a trippy house. That was right in the airport flight pattern. So noisy, crappy little house. Oh my God. But I made some good money real quick. Kind of got hooked on real estate back then while I was working in the studios down there. So anyway, we're going to talk about mortgages, what it really means, and how it affects being free and living free, thinking freely, and being unshackled by the banking system. It's funny, Brianna really loves shredding old junk, old papers with me. It's a lot of fun for her. And I like doing it too because it's just fun to kind of clear the mind of all that old stuff you've been hanging around, holding on to for so many years, thinking that it's you're going to need it. So mortgages, that's what I was thinking of when I was doing that, and rethinking the whole concept of it and its value and what it's doing to our culture and our mindset and its effect on our humanity, our natural state of being. And I think it's had a very detrimental mental health effect even on our nation as a whole and individually in an extreme way. If you understand the word mortgage, go back and just look in a quick Google search of that. It's the word itself is not very promising. It means death pledge. The first part, M-O-R-T, means mort, is that means death, and gauge is pledge, and that doesn't sound that good of a concept to me. And is that even normal or natural? It is in our day that we live in now, but we've been conditioned to believe that's the American dream. The American dream is to be heavily in debt and with a mortgage for 30 years is the most common. and you make that payment, and then you get it paid off eventually one day, and you get to live then in that beautiful home that you probably don't even like anymore because it's old and you're tired of it and you're getting sick of your neighbors maybe. But you get to live there for another maybe 10 years if you're lucky, or maybe longer. And then you pass away, and you will it onto your family or your children, whatever. And the irony of it all is that when you go through this entire process and you grant it to your inheritance, they commonly will sell it. The smart ones will hold on to it and use it at least for a rental or something, but many times the property is turned around and sold, and the siblings split it up, and before you know it, a few years later, all that money is gone. And it's the same that happens with game show contestants that win big prizes. They've done studies on that. Same with the lottery winners. After a given time, 5 or 10 years, even the big jackpots, is normally it's gone. So that's a lot of futility, if you ask me, and it's not even natural, I don't think, for a person. In fact, I know it's not natural to live in the same house for 30 years. That's as far as if you want to go back into anthropology and the history of mankind. We were meant to be nomads, and it's hard to imagine that, but it's absolutely true. We were meant to be nomads, and that's the way it was from the beginning of time, and that's how the migrations happened around the world, and this is pretty common knowledge. But it's funny how we won't look back to that to see what our natural state of humanity is, and even consider it and rethink it and apply it to how we live here in America today. So we are very conditioned and brainwashed here to believe that the American dream includes having a mortgage, because the only way you can really have a home is if you have a mortgage, because of the way the banking system is in this country, and because of their lending practices, and prices of real estate have escalated so much that not many people walking around with $200,000 or $300,000 or $400,000 cash to buy a house. So it's a must. The mortgages are a must now, and we're basically forced into slavery, and that's what the mortgage means. It's a debt slavery. Till it's a slavery of the loan till death. And if that's how we want to live, then we have to be truthful and honest with ourselves to admit that, and to find a way to live with it, reconcile it. And if it's just hunky-dory with you, then just go ahead and do it. And on the positive side, you don't have to keep a mortgage forever. You can keep it for a short period of time and get rid of it. You can speculate with it, and you can use it rather than have it use you and suck the life out of you. So in the interest of mental health, well-being, living life with a capital L, we try our best to think about these things and find ways to navigate around them and live our life on our own terms. So, and that's what we're all about here. Turquoise sunsets and our family. We want to be free in the real sense of the word, not by some programming that's been going on for hundreds of years here in the States. And that actually goes back to European history, the mortgage system. And the alternative is you don't have to live that way. You know, and come to think about it, there's a guy I used to work with years ago who was a director on one of the soap operas I used to work with. And he lived in a condo in Hollywood Hills for most of his life, and he just rented the condo. And when he wasn't working on the shows, he did other things and traveled, so he kept his life real simple. So I guess it must have been a pretty nice condo. However, there are ways around it, and that's the trick, trying to figure it out. So we're all in it together, and we're definitely doing our best to figure it out. So hope you guys are well. Take care, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.